Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably wonder why I record Descendants and Zombies videos so early before anybody is ever awake. The reason is because you've got to have this appreciation for your audience. It's always been about having an appreciation for your audience with me. So even if that meant that I had to record videos before you guys came home from school or in the time that I had, I always wanted to have something up for you guys to watch, because I know that people have promised you Descendants and Zombies videos for a very long time, really for forever. And forever is a long time for a lot of you, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to be one of those guys that would always have a video up for you guys that you could rely on and that you could depend on, that would see discussions and hear discussions on the Worlds Collide Tour, on Descendants 5 Wick Wonderland's upcoming premiere, which many of us are really excited about. My issue with these content creators has always been that they have promised you videos that never seem to happen. And I think that if you make a promise that you're going to upload videos about Descendants of Zombies, in my case, for the rest of my life, then you have to honor that promise. And I've taken great pride and put all of my heart into everything that I did for Descendants of Zombies, because I believed in your favorite stars so much, and I believed in you. Because you guys were the reason why all of this happened for me. Why I could share my stories about Ruby Rose Turner and Kylie Cantrell and how I love them so much with people who love this channel so much. There are so many people who love this channel with all of their heart, and that means the world to me more than words could ever say. And I know that I may never know what I'm about to say every single time that I ever push record, but I've always believed in perceiving everything with an open heart and an open mind, because when you can perceive everything with an open heart and an open mind, that's what makes every video so special. You can really tell people how you feel about Descendants of Zombies when you speak from your heart, how much you love the music, how much you love the beautiful stories of Zed and Addison and Red and Chloe, which were really beautiful stories. Unquestionably, these characters will go on to hold a very special place in our hearts for many years to come, and I felt more than honored to be a part of that and to have the chance to share in that with all of you. While you guys, in turn, have the chance to share with me your stories about what made you fans of Descendants of Zombies, the colorful costumes, the hairstyles, the beautiful stories that brought Red and Chloe to life for the first time ever, which a lot of people really didn't want to take much of a chance on years ago. I remember when The Rise of Red first premiered, there were a lot of critics, and a lot of them took exception to these new characters. They never really wanted to give these stars much of a chance, but what we have to realize is the times have changed. And as the times have changed, we have to change with the times, which can be very difficult for a lot of us to come to terms with. But I think that a lot of us found time in appreciating what Descendants of Zombies eventually became. In light of all the criticism, what we felt about Descendants of Zombies was truly something special. I know what I felt was something truly special, because I wanted to give these stars more of a chance than anybody ever did. I saw the beauty in Kylie Cantrell. I saw the passion coming from her heart, and I said, why not give this girl a chance? Why can't we make some special things happen for her, like her dream of performing on a stage at Madison Square Garden to come true, or more characters than ever before being introduced into the Descendants franchise, because there's such an extensive library of characters, a universe of characters really for us to explore, and to feel honored to become a part of this franchise. I think that a lot of us are really excited for Tiana's daughter Tatum to kind of come into the mix and have an appreciation focused on her, which will happen in Descendants 6. Descendants 6 is currently in the works at Disney. For those of you who are wondering if we're going to get a trilogy, most certainly we are, and I think we all have something to be really excited about. And I'm going to be here with all of you to cover this, because I think that this has always been deserved to be covered in a particular way, in a way that it's always been meant to be covered, and never shown criticism. I think when you shy away from criticism, what you present for this franchise is more of a chance. You put friendships like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker's on display in ways that you never imagined that you would ever have the chance, and you get to talk about people like Ruby Rose Turner because you know that somebody out there loves them just as much as what you do. I've heard all these rumors about the song sets, the song list for the Descendants Zombies Now Camp Rock Worlds Collide Tour coming up in the fall of 2026. It will kick off on September 25th and run through until December 13th. Everybody's really excited about it. In light of all the criticism this has received, everybody is so excited to get their hands on tickets for this. There are limited seatings still available, and everybody is really excited to be a part of this. And, you know, you hear about how people are saying, okay, nobody's going to go because Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, and Freya Sky have reportedly opted out of this tour. That can be confirmed. But the thing is, there are people still saying they want to go, even though there are people speculating that nobody's going to go and attend this because their favorites have opted out because they were always diehard fans of Kylie Control, Malia Baker, and Freya Sky, which I've always respected. There are even more people who are even more excited about this, so that should give even more people something to be excited about, and I think we can find time in appreciating these new stars, because Leg 1 focused on the new stars of the first half of Descendants, and now the Leg 2 is going to focus on the second half of the new stars, and that's going to be really, really cool. The second half of this generation, which I felt more than honored to be a part of, because I saw something special undeniably in Liamani Segura. I was always a fan of Liamani's work. I was a fan of hers on High School Musical, the series, and I've been a fan of her ever since falling in love with her. And I think that the appreciation she's always had for PR and radio interviews, she did one of her first radio interviews a couple of months ago, and the one thing I took away from it was she was so excited to debut as a character in Descendants, a franchise she had watched all of her life, that had been a part of her existence for a very long time. So why should we compare her to other characters such as Ruby or Dove Cameron? I think that these comparisons have been made often enough, and they've kind of taken away the criteria and the hope that we've had for these stars to really be something special. And I think we can give that back to them by kind of taking names like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson out of the conversation. Unquestionably, the ballad If Only is going to be a beautiful ballad that will become a legendary song for a Disney Channel movie, for Disney Channel or Disney Plus. It's one of everybody's favorites, but I think we can be just as excited about Kylie Control having her first ever ballad as the character Red, because this will give Red a chance to kind of reintroduce herself to the fans of Descendants of Zombies of this generation who probably aren't as familiar with Dove Cameron's version of a ballad called If Only. I mean, If Only was a song that really introduced us to Dove Cameron and what she was really going to be all about as the character Mal, and definitely she defined a generation, but I think these stars can define a generation just as powerfully and give us something even more to be excited about. I was always a fan of Dove Cameron, I'm not going to lie. I was always a fan of Dove Cameron, but I became an even bigger fan and supporter of Kylie Control for just how strong she was, how fearless she always was, and how she never really cared what anybody thought of her in front of the camera, at least. When the camera was turned off, she became very emotional about some of these reviews that were often very cruel about Kylie Control. I read really cruel reviews about Kylie Control every day, and the one thing I think about is what she must be going through. I've always wanted to be there for Kylie, you know? I've always wanted to be that one friend that she could always call, that ensured her that everything was going to be all right. And that's kind of why I started campaigning to kind of get in as the director and the writer, one of the creative minds behind Descendants of Zombies, because the one thing I would go out of my way to do is give them what they wanted. I would give them space to kind of figure out their place in the world, their involvement with this franchise, and allow them the chance to create their own version of these characters and to tell their own stories, because there's only ever going to be only one you. So because there's only ever going to be only one you, that should be appreciated. There's only one Ruby, there's only one Kylie, and I think that as much of a chance as we gave to people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, we can give those same opportunities and chances to people like Malia and Kylie, who have been there for each other every step of the way, despite all the rumors about how apparently they're no longer friends because of what happened with Malachi Barton and Kylie Control's relationship, which has never been any reflection on either of them. I think that it takes two to tango, and I think that they are probably both at fault, but the thing is, they are beautiful people nonetheless, and nobody thinks any differently of them. I think that the friendship between Kylie Control and Malia Baker is a beautiful friendship that should never be destroyed, should never be tarnished, and we should continue to honor it. Just as we should continue to honor friendships such as Malachi Barton and Freya Sky's friendship. I know there are a lot of rumors surrounding their friendship as well, but the thing about their friendship is that they are incredibly supportive of each other, just as Kylie and Malia have always been supportive of each other, and I think we can find time in appreciating that. And I would be the only guy on YouTube who has ever felt that way. But I saw something special in their friendships, and the one thing that was really beautiful, that was constant about Descendants of Zombies, was always how beautiful these friendships were to me and probably everybody else who subscribed here because they heard me say something nice about their favorite stars, and that's all they ever wanted to be a part of, was hearing something I said about their favorite stars. And I really had the time of my life saying something nice about your favorite stars because it intrigued you. It left you at a loss for words and oftentimes took your breath away because of how a guy really felt about Descendants of Zombies and felt connected to all of you. Because I've somehow developed this emotional connection with every fan of Descendants of Zombies for how I could tell these stories about how much I loved Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland, because I really did. I saw something special not only in the movies, but I saw something special in the stories that were written over 50 years ago. And I will never ever forget when Cinderella was first published and Alice in Wonderland was first published. It was released just before Christmas, and it made it to bookshelves on Christmas Eve. Both Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella did, especially Alice in Wonderland, and everybody wanted that book. I wish you guys could have been there to see how much everybody wanted that book, because those stories back in the early 1900s were beautiful stories to hear. You know, about how a girl could go to a magic ball, find her true love, fall in love with that true love, and stay with him forever. And I think everybody in that generation from the early 1900s and beyond continued to believe in that and followed their passions because of stories like Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland, because of how beautiful they were. And a lot of people found time in appreciating that. I myself found time in appreciating that many years later. You know, I'm a lot older than a lot of you, and I can remember when these books were first published, books like Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid, what have you. But I think that as you get older, you're going to understand what I'm saying. And as you get older, you will understand just how much Descendants of Zombies has truly built itself up to mean something to you years down the road, because you're going to look back on your time being a fan of Descendants of Zombies, and you're going to think, oh my God, this is so special. You know, I really had the chance to be a part of something so special. Experience something so wonderful with all of my friends, whether it be the Worlds Collide Tour, the premieres of all these movies. That's what makes being a fan of whatever you're a fan of so special. You know, years ago I was a fan of the Power Rangers, which is very different from being a fan of Descendants, but I'm going to use this comparison. So I watched over 500 episodes of the Power Rangers, then from out of nowhere on June 30th, 1995, here comes the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie with all my favorite stars, and of course I wanted to go. I was like, Mom, I got to go see the Power Rangers. So after convincing her, she was like, all right! And then we went to the Power Rangers, and I freaked out because I saw these larger-than-life superheroes coming to life on the big screen for the first time ever. Now, years ago, movies weren't as detailed as they are now. I mean, you have all these CGI effects, all these special effects bringing movies to life. They were far from detailed like they are now, but I remember seeing these characters being brought to life, and I was so excited about that. What am I saying? I was so excited when I saw the CGI version of Alvin and the Chipmunks back in 2007, I think it was. But the thing is, I always love seeing my favorite characters and their stories kind of being brought to life in live-action movies like the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie and even the Power Rangers from back in 1995, because I know what it's like to be a fan like every one of you. I always dreamed of being one of the Power Rangers on the fighting squad and saving the universe from obstruction, rid of repulsa. I always dreamed about living in a pineapple at the bottom of the sea and making friends with a starfish. The thing is, that's what shows like SpongeBob SquarePants and even Bluey encouraged us, was that no matter how, you know, hard life can be for any of us, all we have to do is just show kindness to people who deserve kindness, who just want a little bit of extra kindness shown to them, and we can really make a difference. And I think the impact of Descendants of Zombies, and yes, I've always had a dream of making friends with a starfish because of just how special SpongeBob SquarePants has held a special place in my heart for a very long time, but that certainly should never take anything away from anything that I felt passionate about. The thing is, guys, we only have so many opportunities in this life to really make moments like these count and to celebrate these moments, and I've just loved every moment that I've had the chance to really celebrate with you guys. I know that every morning that I record these videos, I kind of sound like somebody who's suffering from a zombie infection, which probably could be true. I've never actually got this checked out, but probably I should perhaps. But the thing is, that's why I've loved creating these videos, because I can record these videos as if I'm suffering from zombie infection, thinking that zombies are going to come through my window at any given moment, because that's what allows me to bring these videos to life, and that's what inevitably puts smiles on each and every one of your faces. I have felt more than honored to be a part of this and sharing this unbelievable experience with all of you, and it's something I've always looked forward to. These conversations are something I can never seem to get enough of, and I've often appreciated every single time we have these conversations, because I know the thing is, what you got to understand is there's always somebody out there who just wants to hear something nice about their favorite stars. And if you can give that to them, if you can give that one girl a reason to hit your subscribe button because she loves Descendants of Zombies with all of your heart, then give it to her. And she will love you forever. She doesn't care who you are. She doesn't care where you come from, what your story is, what your situation is. As long as you talk about and love who she loves just as much. And she will forever cling to you. She will never go away. Because she knows that you believe in her favorite stars just as much as what you do. And the thing is, guys, that's what makes these videos so special, and I just wish more content creators would feel the same way. Unfortunately for us, they don't, but at least you guys have always had me, and I've been the one thing constant about Descendants of Zombies for at least what feels like forever for many of you. And I know forever sounds like a long time for a lot of you, But that's what's so cool about this universe, is that there are so many people who present a chance for diversity. And as long as there are so many people who present a chance for diversity, that's what makes these conversations so special, and I felt so honored to be a part of them. So thank you so much. So let's continue to love Descendants of Zombies with all of our hearts for just a little while longer, because the way I see it is, this story never has had to be over, and it should never have to be over. So let's keep on believing in Descendants of Zombies and give somebody else out there a reason to believe in Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. More great conversations are on the way. And as always, thank you so much for having watched this video.